That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling and you take him for a friend.
Oh my God.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling and you take him for a friend.
Shall I repeat that if it's okay with you guys? So when Malcolm says it, we stand on it. Here I am, raised by a generation of men that claims that they looked up to Malcolm, right? Claims that they looked up to Malcolm, claims all these. Was Malcolm wrong then, or is he just wrong now? I just want to know. And there's nothing wrong. Somebody could be right 70 years ago and be wrong now. But I just want to be clear. Was Malcolm wrong then, or is he just wrong now? Because a lot of the people that I look up to, a lot of my dad's generation, y'all looked up to Malcolm X, right? So I just want to know from my own knowledge and own understanding, was Malcolm wrong then, or is he wrong now? Because a lot of the same problems that I see that were happening then are happening now. Case in point, I tell y'all all the time, when I went to my buddy's dad's event, who was one of the people that were significantly involved in the civil rights movement as a very young person, when I went to their event, it sounded like I was in the 60s. It sounded like I was in the 60s. So if we got the same problems from the 60s and we didn't use the solutions that Malcolm X recommended in the 60s, then was Malcolm wrong then, or is he wrong now as far as how it applies to us? Because that same nationalist movement, I told y'all, where it's do for self and stop relying on everybody else. You have enough of a community to circulate your dollars within the community, to grow an economy within your community, to grow a bank within your family and within your community. We have the access, knowledge, tools, skills, talent to do that right now. But instead, we decide to just complain and to align ourselves with who Malcolm describes as the foxes, the white liberals that come to us with a smile and act like they want to empower us and act like they want to do something for us. But in all actuality, when you look at the large impact that they've had, it's been detrimental to the black community. When you look at Joe Biden and what he did with his crime bill, please give me something else that Trump has done that has impacted the lives of more black men than Joe Biden's crime bill. I'll wait. Should we talk about Lyndon B. Johnson and the social programs that he put into place that crippled the black community and have crippled us for almost 80 years, 70 years? I don't know. I'm not really doing the math off the top of my head. Should we talk about those things? But no, we're going to focus on Donald Trump, right? Because he said in Charlottesville that there was very fine people on both. Oh, wait, he didn't really say that. They just reported it to us that he said that. But they didn't play the next sentence or the two sentences after that said, I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white supremacist groups. They should be condemned at all costs. Who? We have been finessed by foxes. We have been finessed by foxes, and we are so in love with, like, we become so in love with people with emotions rather than logic that we will buy into the emotional baiting, whether it's fear mongering from the Democrats or whether it's the Democrats patting us on the back, giving us participation trophies, telling us that don't worry, it's okay. We know that you're a victim, but of course you're a victim because those evil people over there, they hold you back. But don't worry, we're going to fight for you. You just have to rely on us to do so.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see.
Hold on. Did y'all peep the first sentence that he said? There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem. So Malcolm X said that in probably a time that was more fanatical. Well, I can't say it was more fanatical. I don't really know. That would actually be something good to study, but let me say more oppressive times. Is that fair to say than now? I know everybody feels like, oh, well, we're oppressed now. Donald Trump is working with Project 2025. My daughters grow up with less rights than my grandparents because we don't want abortions and all this other. Yeah, I get all that. Maybe we should switch and go back to how things were in the 60s, so maybe we can appreciate the 2000s a little bit more. I don't know. But all I do know is that when I appreciate opportunities more, I usually do better with them. I usually take advantage. I usually see the positive in all of them. I'm able to see the opportunities rather than to focus on the areas that may be more challenging. I'm seeing the glass half full compared to half empty. Let's keep going.
Calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling and you take him for a friend.
Let's hear what Tom Sowell got to say about it. Let's hear what the GOAT.
Many of the prevailing misconceptions of the histories of both blacks and whites in America derive from trying to amalgamate morality and causation so as to make the moral evil of slavery a causal explanation of contemporary negative social phenomena, which have in fact had entirely different historical bases. The touchy pride of white Southerners, ready to explode into deadly violence, has often been explained as being a result of whites being used to unbridled domination over slaves. But the very same attitudes existed among their ancestors in Britain, where slavery did not exist, as those attitudes also existed in those parts of the South where slaves were virtually non-existent, and among people who were in no economic condition to buy slaves. When discussing both blacks and Southern whites, slavery has served as an all-purpose explanation of many social phenomena, ranging from broken families to poor education, lower labor force participation rates, and high rates of crime and violence.
I want to, as we're looking at these pictures, I'll be totally honest. It's just another example of black people falling in love with symbolism and being emotionally stimulated. What are you marching for? What are you like? Who made the decision to say, let's fight back by going and setting up a march or a rally, humming some or screaming some black spirituals or Negro spirituals, whatever, with no weapons against people that have gun knives, or knife guns like this that we're seeing in the video right here? Did we really think that that was a winning strategy? Or did we just get caught up and respond with the emotional energy of something that we knew would not work anyway? Maybe this is what Martin Luther King was talking about when he said, or allegedly said, that he's feared that he's led his people into a burning house. The only battle that makes sense to fight is an economic battle. That is how, like, we're fighting emotional battles in a capitalistic society. How does that make sense? How do you, like, in a capitalist society, you use emotion in order to control capital. But we haven't figured that part out yet. We just use the emotion to allow other people to control us and to control our capital. Use the emotion. Use the emotions that Jews use when they talk about the Holocaust and the world being against them or whatever they say. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it is. Maybe the world is against Jewish people, maybe because they're so successful. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. That's not what I'm arguing. But what I'm talking about is use that to be a rallying cry to unite your people and to create an infrastructure that supports your people. Instead, We use it as a rallying cry to unite our people and to support who Malcolm X was talking about are the foxes, the white liberals. Where are the results? Where are the results? And it's funny because my mom just sent our group chat an article today talking about Democrats still being delusional and lost and not understanding. And the article to me pretty much came down to the Democrats have no foundational values and foundational principles. What do the Democrats stand for? We don't know. We don't know. It depends on who they're appealing to, right? It depends on, well, if I'm at this LGBTQ rally, it may be this. If I'm at this black rally, it may be this. If I'm at this women's rally, it may be this. Or if I'm meeting with the leaders, the other white liberals, it may be this. Or the black liberals like Barack Obama, who we've convinced is one of the brothers, right? Brothers. When he decided to try to condemn us black men for not voting for Kamala and being free thinkers and independent thinkers and just going along with the get along and supporting the Democrats. Barack Obama, you had your 8 years, brother. What did you do? What is the biggest impact that you made on black people?
Often, evidence has been neither asked for nor given. Not surprisingly, many of these explanations do not stand up under
Pink Boy Queen coming through. Yeah, we definitely gonna read the super chats. I appreciate you. Appreciate that super chat from my brother Pink Boy Queen. If you tell lies, if you show your muscles, speak nonsense, rap toxic messages, your channel will grow fast. I can't unknow what I know, what I now know. Pink Boy Queen. Pink Boy Queen. Y'all know I'm always recruiting on here. We need a show. We need to link up after this. Pink Boy Queen, I need your email. I need something. I'm seeing something bigger here, Pink Boy Queen. I'm being honest. And the reason why is because I'm so appreciative of what you just wrote here. If you tell lies, if you show your muscles, speak nonsense, rap toxic messages, your channel will grow fast. I can't unknow what I now know. If I was on here, I say that all the time, especially when I'm talking to Maya. I'm like, yo, if I made a page just telling black women how amazing they are, if I made a page that was even telling black people, black women how ain't-ish they are, like as far as in a rap song and how I'm going to, if I was putting out toxic messages, if I had a no jumper base, if I had a Vlad base, if I had a if I had all these different things that you hear, a lot of these other networks that a lot of times we tap into it, that are talking about more toxic things rather than more a common sense approach to us elevating in areas that are actually impacting our lives, things will grow. My bad. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. It's not about me. Pink Boy Queen, I appreciate you. That's all I wanted to say. And as Queez, my brother, says, like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. So Mike Figueras wrote, I can only speak for myself and my family. The Democratic government assistance didn't cripple my family. It helped during hard times. The white supremacist system of oppression is what is crippling. So I would ask you this. If you're saying that it helped your family during hard times, you wrote an S there. During hard times. If something fixes a problem, see, and this is my point. Do we want to fix something? Do we want to become healthier, or do we want to just take pills from Big Pharma that fix our issues at times when they go overboard? Or do we want to just become healthier and not have those problems? Everybody can point to you. You can sit here and say, and I'll give it to you the same way. Mike, let me flip it on you. A lot of people will say that they only voted for Trump because of the stimmies, the stimulus checks. So just like I don't think that people should just vote for Donald Trump based on him giving out stimulus checks and, oh, he signed his name on it. That came directly from Trump. Just how I think that that's super ignorant. I think it's the same thing when it comes to the Democrats. And well, they gave us when I needed assistance, they gave it to me. Mike, I'm looking a little bit deeper into it. Why do you keep continuing to need assistance? Why do black people continue to need more assistance? And I know I'm going to get a comment that say, well, white people rely on welfare, not percentage based. There's a lot more white people in the country. So yes, overall, white people rely on welfare and assistance more. Just like you could say there's more white people in prison. You could say, yeah. But when it comes to the percentage of our people, if black people only make up a certain, let's say black people are only 10% of the population in America, then why are we more of that population in jail? Why are we more of that population compared to the population of white people that are on a lot of these other programs? That would be my question that I ask. So do you want to continue to have somebody that continues to give you aid during times of need, or do you want to be in those times of need? That's the question that I have for you, Mike. That's the question that I have. Y'all sold out for $1,500, got nerve to diss Obama. Sad. I'm not sure that you heard the whole thing, but I get what you're saying. People that sold out, and this, y'all sold out for $1,500. Do you not realize Jovan STL Hansman? If you're saying that black people sold out for stimulus checks for Donald Trump, are you not realizing that black people have sold out ever since Lyndon B. Johnson introduced social programs with the welfare and everything else where they give assistance? Do you not realize that black people have been selling out to the Democratic Party for over 70 years? Why is it so easy for you to identify black people selling out because Donald Trump gave a stimulus check or stimulus checks? Why is it so easy for you to identify that, but it's so hard for you to identify that black people have been selling out for the Democratic assistance that keeps you at the bottom, that does cripple you to the point where, oh, well, they helped us during hard times. Why do we have to continue having hard times? Damn. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we not seeing here? Why are we so short-sighted with all this stuff? See the big picture. Let's keep going.
Scrutiny. Census data, for example, show that labor force participation rates were higher among non-whites than among whites in 1920 and 1930. No matter what the origin of counterproductive behavior, such behavior must be changed if progress is the goal. On the other hand, if the real agenda is to score points against American society, then blacks can be used as a means to that end. More generally, a pro-black stance by white intellectuals enhances the latter's moral standing and self-esteem, whether or not the particular manifestation of that stance helps or harms blacks on net balance. The chafing restrictions of civilization, which can at times become irksome to people of any color, may be vicariously thrown off by those white intellectuals who cheer on outlandish and even lawless behavior by black hoodlums or entertainers. Blacks, in effect, become the mascots of these intellectuals, symbolizing and acting out the latter's resistance to society, or more accurately, civilization. But while mascots may be indulged, more fundamental...
Hold up, Eb. I can call you Eb. And Taylor, shout out to you. I appreciate that. Because Taylor wrote, yes, sir, I will get you the information. I apologize. My daughter always gets on the comments. I get overwhelmed with subjects. Emotions go haywire. I do like your point of view. Makes me realize how off I am. Damn, that's respect. And not respect from a standpoint that you're just agreeing with me, but respect from being open. We all need to be open, myself included. This is why I always tell y'all, I haven't even said it yet on the show today, but y'all know I say it every show. I may be wrong. I may be off, but I'm going to be very clear on where I stand. So that way you guys can be very clear. And if you need to check me, then check me. If I'm seeing something wrong, then I want y'all to know exactly how I'm seeing it. So therefore you could tell me if it's wrong. If I just sit here and shut up and don't say anything, then I'm never going to know if the things that I'm doing, the perspective that I have is wrong or right. So I appreciate that. Ebony. Why have the times gotten harder? I saw an older black man say the best time for blacks was the first 100 years after slavery. Then the trajectory went down. Ebony, I know this is your first time and we are aligned because this is the conversation that we've been having for the last month. The last month, I made the statement, Ebony, that that this is all like a mindset when it comes to the reason, like it's a mentality type of problem that we have. It's not a money type of problem. It's a mentality. And I said, can you imagine somebody 5 years removed from slavery, 5 years removed from slavery, wasn't able to read, wasn't able to have their own business, wasn't able to work in certain places. Can you imagine them looking at black people right now? Looking at black people right now, the people that were 5 years removed from slavery, and sitting here saying, damn, no kids in Chicago and Baltimore can read at a proper reading level? These are their math scores? Y'all are complaining about white people not hiring you, but you can actually, it's legal for you to start your own business? Y'all are on the forefront and fighting for tampons to be in boys' bathrooms, drag queens to read books to kids in schools, men to play sports against women. Like, that's what you guys have the privilege to even think about those type of things. We were just trying to make it legal to read. We were just happy to not be in chains and shackles. But y'all are oppressed. Come on now. Come on now. We cannot be living in this world. We cannot be living in this world. How can we be living in this? Don't y'all realize that, like, just from this standpoint, any opportunity, think about the times in our lives where we've truly appreciated an opportunity. Let's look at relationships. That relationship that you have where you know she ain't going nowhere, you could cheat on her as much as you want. It is what it is. You don't value that person. But let's say somebody else comes in where you're like, yo, this person, they've already left. I'd made one mistake that wasn't even, I thought, as serious as the mistakes I used to make with old girl. And now I didn't hear from her for 2-3 years. The next time you get an opportunity from that woman, you're going to appreciate it in a different way. Appreciation, in my opinion, tells a lot. It's a huge factor in whether or not you'll be successful in any opportunity, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's anything. When you truly appreciate that opportunity, you're going to be more successful. We have gotten to a point where we're so removed from slavery, even though we say it was only 500 years ago, it's less than 500, whatever we say, whatever. We are so removed from that we can't even see how much of an opportunity we have right now, how much freedom we have right now. We're still stuck fighting for freedom. At what point are we going to say, you know what, we got enough freedom to move independently and create our own? So maybe we can ease up on the freedom talk and actually put some of that time, effort, energy, and resources into actually building some infrastructure on our own. I'm just wondering, at what point do we make the transition to where we say, oh, well, instead of begging white folks for this, the same white folks that I'm accusing of being racist, instead of begging and waiting for them to change things, to make things better for us, why don't we just change it for ourselves? Isn't that what other groups in this country have done? We know Asians were mistreated in this country, right? A long time ago. Did that impact Asians from being successful in this country? Or did they use that as a rallying cry? Or did they not even say anything about it? Did they just apply pressure and just say, you know what? We're gonna build in this country. We're going to build quietly. We don't even have to be involved in the elections and all this other stuff. We're going to make sure that we put ourselves in a position to be successful no matter who's in office, rather than get caught up in the emotional back and forth of fanaticizing and radicalizing both parties. I don't know. Let's continue. My fault. I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but let's continue. Y'all keep up the group chat going. I'm definitely tapped in with y'all.
Fundamentally, mascots exist for the sake of those who adopt them, and the actual well-being of the mascot is seldom a high priority. By cheering on counterproductive attitudes, making excuses for self-defeating behavior, and promoting the belief that racism accounts for most of blacks' problems, white intellectuals serve their own psychic, ideological, and political interests. They are the kinds of friends who can do more harm than enemies. A crucial fact about white liberals must be kept in mind. They are not simply in favor of blacks in general. Their solicitude is poured out for blacks as victims, blacks as welfare mothers, criminals, political activists against the larger society, as well as those blacks who serve as general countercultural symbols against the larger society. White liberals have nothing approaching the same interest in blacks as the principal victims of black criminals or as people advancing themselves within the existing framework of American society, including many who have risen within the military. Nor do they get particularly worked up over blacks who build up their own human capital or business capital. None of the
Wait, what? Did we hear that correctly?
white liberals must be kept in mind. They are not simply in favor of blacks in general. Their solicitude is poured out for blacks as victims, blacks as welfare mothers, criminals, political activists against the larger society, as well as those blacks who serve as general countercultural symbols against the larger society. White liberals have nothing approaching the same interest in blacks as the principal victims of black criminals or as people advancing themselves within the existing framework of American society, including many who have risen within the military. Nor do they get particularly worked up over blacks who build up their own human capital or business capital. None of the many reports of black schools that excel academically seems to arouse any great interest among white liberals. It was not the liberals in Washington, but the Reagan administration, which offered successful black educator Marva Collins an appointment as Secretary of Education.
Whoa. Didn't know about that.
Ew, it's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real